Good evening and a very warm welcome to our family quiz. I nearly said monthly quiz, but it hasn't happened the last couple of months. But welcome to all who are watching live and to those who are watching the recording after the event. I hope you're all well. I hope you've all got pen and paper or stylus and tablet or something organised to record your results. Are we ready? We have 10 rounds of 5 questions each, and our rounds this evening are true or false, P words, who am I, digits, fill in the blanks, the news, around the equator, animals, the world, and colours. And so, without further ado, let us go to round number 1, which is true or false. True or false. And the first true or false is the company Nintendo has been around for over 130 years. True or false? Question number 2. The sun makes up around 99.9% of the mass of the solar system. The sun makes up around 99.9% of the mass of the solar system. True or is that false? Roger Federer has won the most Wimbledon titles of any player. True or is it false? Question number 4. According to Scottish law, it is illegal to be drunk in charge of a cow. Is that false or is that true? And the fifth and final true or false statement for you is all the kings in a standard deck of cards are holding a sword. All the kings in a standard deck of cards hold a sword. Is that true or is that false? That was round number 1. I'll give you a chance to get all your answers, and I see that the music has been bringing smiles to faces, so let's hear it again. And let's go to the answers. True or false answers. There we go. Oh, that's not the answers. Right, Nintendo, yes, it's true. The company has been around for over 130 years. They started making playing cards and card games and have evolved into the digital world. Yes, it's true. The sun comprises 99.9% of the mass of our solar system. Roger Federer is not, in fact, the most Wimbledon title holder. That belongs to Martina Navratilova. I knew I would do that to her. She got 9. Yeah, Federer only has 8 Wimbledon titles. Yes, it's true. In Scots law, it does state that it is illegal to be drunk in charge of a cow. And all the kings in a standard deck hold a sword. No, that is false. The King of Diamonds is holding an axe. So, how were we doing on round 1 there? If you would like, you can pop some results into the comments. Okay. P words. Round 2. P is the chemical symbol of which element? P, the chemical symbol of which element? And then pabulation. Pabulation, something that you've probably done at least 3 times already today. But what does it mean? Pabulation. I was pabulating a little while ago. Perhaps you were too. And then what P is a hyphenated Scots word derived from pale and an old explanation of sorrow. Which TV quiz show is associated with the phrase, "Can I have a pee, Bob?" And the 5th and final P word question. What P is a mixture of dried petals and spices placed in a bowl to perfume a room? So that was round number 2. And the answers we were looking for there: phosphorus, the chemical with the symbol P. Pabulation is a technical term for eating. Feeding yourself is pabulation. And the hyphenated Scots word we were looking for is peely-wally. Peely-wally. Blockbusters, TV show associated with the phrase, "Can I have a pee, Bob?" And potpourri was what we were looking for the last one there. So now you have got, I don't think I said at the beginning, 2 points for every right answer, 1 point if you're half right. Your decision is final. And you've now got a score out of 20 at the end of round 2. So let's press on with round number 3, which is entitled Who Am I? And the first Who Am I? I am one of the most famous Egyptian rulers because of my tomb, but not much else is known about me. Who am I? Number 2, who am I? I sailed at God's will in biblical times and welcomed a flying symbol of peace. Who am I? Question 3, I'm a left-hander known as the King of Clay. Who am I? Question 4. I was born in Liverpool in 1940 and died in 1980. My first band was called the Quarrymen. In 2002, a BBC poll of the 100 greatest Britons ranked me number 8. Who am I? And finally, in round 3, who am I? Born in southwest London in 1976, I am known for my career in stand-up comedy, my autobiography, Life and Laughing, My Story. In 2010, the same year, I became the youngest ever host of the Royal Variety performance. I have also been a judge on Britain's Got Talent. Who am I? So that was round 3. And are we ready to go to some answers? Do say hello in the chat if you haven't already done so. We'll go to the answers now. Round 3 answers. We were looking for Tutankhamun and then Noah and Rafael Nadal, John Lennon, and Michael McIntyre. So you now have a score out of 30 at the end of round 3. And we're going to round 4. Using only these digits and each one only once, what's the largest 5-digit number you can create? Largest 5-digit number you can create using only 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and each digit only once. What's the smallest 3-digit number you can create using those digits and each one only once? What's the smallest even number over 200 that you can create using these digits and each one only once? Number 4, what is the sum of those 5 digits? And question 5, can you create a number with all 5 digits that isn't a multiple of 3? Okay, so have we got 5 answers there? That's round number 4. We'll go to the answers now. The largest 5-digit number you could make out of those numbers would be 54,321, 54321. The smallest number in 3 digits would be 123, 123. The smallest even number over 200 that you can create would be 214. Over 200, so it must begin with a 2, then a 1 would be the smallest number available to us. We've already used 1 and 2, and 3 is an odd number, so it must be 4. 214 was what we were looking for there. Did you get that one? Then what's the sum of the 5 digits? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 gets us to 15. And can you create a number with all those 5 digits that isn't a multiple of 3? No, you cannot. Any number you create using all those 5 numbers will be exactly divisible by 3. So that was round number 4. Number 5, round 5 is called Fill in the Blanks. Now up to your score out of 40, if you would like to share that in the chat, that would be good. And we'll go to round number 5. Fill in the blanks. Tony, Gordon, David, blank, Boris, blank, Rushi. Fill in the blanks. Fiona, who got off to a good start with a 10 out of 10 in the first round, now saying it was going so well, 29 out of 40. A very reasonable score there. Question number 2. Fill in the blanks. Hydrogen, blank. Lithium, beryllium, blank. Carbon, nitrogen. And question number 3. Fill in the blanks. Victoria, Edward, blank. Edward, blank. Elizabeth, Charles. Question number 4. Fill in the blanks. O-T-T, blank. F-S-S-E-N, blank. Fill in the blanks. And question number 5, final fill in the blank question. Matthew, Mark, blank. John, Acts, blank. So, how are we doing there? That was round 5, wasn't it? Round 5. So if we go to the answers, you'll then have a score out of 50. So we were looking for Teresa and Liz to fill in the blanks, the Prime Ministers. If you haven't noticed, there have been a few of them in the last month. The elements that were missing from this list were helium and boron, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, beginning of the periodic table. And then we were looking for 2 Georges, George the 5th and 6th, but we didn't have the other numbers in there, so just George and George gets you your 2 points there. O-T-T-F-F-S-S-E-N-T was what we were looking for. Have you seen the sequence? It's one of the simplest ones around. 1, 2, 3, 4. F for 4, F for 5, S for 6 and 7, then an E and then an N for 9 and a T for 10. And finally, Luke and Romans complete that little sequence. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts and Romans, the first books in the New Testament. So at the end of that round, how are you doing? As we move ahead into round 6, have you been watching the news? Coins bearing the image of King Charles are now being minted. Which coin were the first into circulation? Perhaps, in fact, the only coin so far into circulation, but which coins has it been? Who today has completed a $44 billion takeover of Twitter, according to today's news. Who today has been announced as the moderator designate of the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland? Question number 4 on the news. Hamza Yassin, star of Strictly Come Dancing, has lived in which Scottish village for the last 11 years? And finally, featured on the BBC's The Repair Shop, what item originally belonging to Queen Victoria has been repaired and returned to Charles? Filmed while he was Prince. Have you got 5 answers to those 5 questions? Give you a moment. How are we doing? So that was round 6. We'll go to the answers. The 50p coin has already been minted with the head of King Charles on the head's side of the coin. Elon Musk today reportedly completed a $44 billion takeover of Twitter. Reverend Sally Foster Fulton has been named as our moderator designate in the Church of Scotland. Fantastic news for the church. Hamza, star of Strictly, belongs to the Scottish village of Kilhoan, out towards the end of the Ardgour Point, up in this neck of the woods. And isn't he doing rather well? And it was a vase belonging to Queen Victoria that had been accidentally damaged and repaired by The Repair Shop, BBC programme. So how are we doing after that round? I think that was round 6. I'm losing track here. Someone pop in a score and we'll see if that's out of 60. And we can move on to around the equator. And the first question is, the equator divides Earth into north and south, northern and southern hemispheres. What do we call the line that divides Earth east and west? The equator passes through Lake Victoria in Africa. True or false? It could have belonged to round 1 as well. Here it is on around the equator. Is Malawi north or south of the equator? "13 countries lie on the equator. The equator passes through 13 countries. Can you name 2 of them? And when played as the opening word in Scrabble, what would the word equator score? When played as the opening word, equator would score how many points in Scrabble? So yeah, the equator round is round 7. So we're at scores out of 70 after you've got the answers to these ones. Okay, are we ready to go to the answers on around the equator? We were looking for prime meridian, the line that divides east and west. If you said meridian, I won't argue. The equator passes through Lake Victoria. I'm pretty sure that's true. I haven't highlighted one of those in the answers there. I'm sure that's true. We'll check that one. Lake Victoria, equator. Does the equator pass through? It also passes through, yeah, Lake Victoria. The equator does pass. That was true. Is Malawi north or south? It's south of the equator. 13 countries lie on the equator. Can you name 2 of them? If you named any of Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil, Sao Tome and Principe, Gabon, Republic of the Congo, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Uganda, Kenya, Somalia, Maldives, Indonesia are Kiribati. Looks as though it should be Kiribati. Kiribati. Okay, and finally, the word equator in Scrabble as the opening word would be worth 82 points, 10 for the Q, 1 for each of the other letters, giving 16, doubled because it's on the pink square to start the game, and 50 bonus points for playing a 7-letter word. So it would get you 82 points. Have you got 82 points? Well, you can't, because we're only at 70 points at the moment. How are you doing? 45 out of 70 says, let's get these up here. Yeah, Fiona's saying Hamza's doing better than I am. And Katie saying 45 out of 70. Excellent. Okay, let's move on to there's Katie saying 45 out of 70 at this point. So round number 8 is animals. Animals. Where are butterflies' taste receptors? On their feet, their wings, or their antennae? Feet, wings, or antennae? Which animal can close its nostrils during a sandstorm to keep the sand out? In the novel Life of Pi, what kind of animal is Richard Parker? The character Napoleon in George Orwell's Animal Farm is what type of animal? And question 5, in Charles Dickens' novel Oliver Twist, what type of animal is Bullseye? So that was round 8. And the answers that we were looking for there: butterflies' taste receptors are on their feet. And a camel can close its nostrils to keep the sand out. Richard Parker is a tiger in Life of Pi. And the character Napoleon is a pig, and Bullseye is a dog. So we're now at scores out of 80. How are you doing? Round 9, the penultimate round tonight, is all about the world. How many American presidents' heads are carved into Mount Rushmore? Just how many? You don't need to name them. Extra kudos if you do know who they all are. But no points. In which continent would you find over 90% of the world's fresh water? Antarctica or Asia? Where would you find 90% of the world's fresh water? The highest uninterrupted waterfall in the world is Angel Falls. In which country would you find Angel Falls? In 1951, the British mountaineer Eric Shipton found a trail of what on Mount Everest? Question 4 on the world. El Azizia is often referred to as the hottest place on Earth. In which country is it? And it's either Australia, Mexico, or Libya. Libya, Mexico, or Australia. So, how are we doing? Fiona's dancing. 59 out of 80. What will the score be when it's out of 90? Are we ready to go to the answers? The answers we were looking for are four American heads. Antarctica is where you would find 90% of the world's fresh water. Venezuela is where you would find the Angel Falls, the highest uninterrupted waterfall in the world. 1951, Eric Shipton found a trail of giant footprints. Yeti footprints, perhaps. Giant footprints. And El Azizia is in Libya, said to be the hottest place on Earth. The final round is all about colours. Been racing through it tonight. We've reached the final round and it's just 25 to 8. Colours. Final round. In the original version of Trivial Pursuit, what colour are the history questions? What colour do you get if you mix red and blue? What's the middle colour on the French flag? Who in 2012 named her daughter Blue Ivy Carter? And the final question of the quiz coming up is, most people in Britain have brown eyes. Used to be true, no longer true. Which colour now takes the lead? Most people in Britain have what colour of eyes? And it's no longer brown. So, there we go. 10 rounds, 5 questions each, 100 points up for grabs, and some very respectable scores along the way. Let's go to the answers on that there. We're looking for yellow, purple, white, Beyonce, and blue. Blue eyes are apparently more common now than brown eyes in the UK. Beyonce called her daughter blue, white in the middle of the French flag, purple when you mix red and blue, and yellow was the answer to the first question. What was the first question? Oh, gone too far. Oh yes, and the original version of Trivial Pursuits, the history questions were yellow. So, what did that do to the score? Final scores at the end of 10 rounds. Marks out of 100. And it's either Fiona or Katie. No one else is telling us how they're doing. So while we're waiting for those scores to come in, can I thank you for being a part of our quiz tonight? There'll be one at the end of November, the last Friday in November, but not at the end of December. And we'll see how things are going into next year. Can I tell you about something else that's going to be happening around the parishes here? Not long now until Advent. Advent begins on the 27th of November, Sunday the 27th. And going to be doing a wee series of different things. There will be something online every day during Advent, and some different offline activities too around the parishes here. Lots of things changing, as you may know, that the 3 parishes of Ardgour, Kingairloch, Strontian and Morvern will be joining together to form one body. Ardgour, Morvern and Strontian Parish Church, one entity. Similarly, Kingairloch and Ardgour, where the aforementioned Kilhoan is, will be joining, and then those 2 congregations linked with a ministry team comprising myself, Ella Gill, reader, and Jade McLean, probation minister. Let's see the final comments coming in there. Yeah, very good to see that you got the Bible ones right, and more good fun as usual. Yep. Well done to everybody for sharing in that. 73 out of 100 for Fiona, and 67 for the Middletons. Well done. Congratulations, everyone. Whoa, well done. So, last Friday of November for the next quiz. Good night. God bless you all.